terrible problem after all, and how nice it was to have one of those. When I passed our neighbor Sarah's yard, I couldn't help seeing what an amazing job her gardener had done. Sarah was a master gardener herself, but recently she'd gotten busy at work and had brought in some help, and even I could tell that a true artist was at work there. Maybe I could hire her gardener, I thought to myself, and then our yard would be as beautiful as hers. It would be healthy and lush and well taken care of, just the way I wanted to be myself. A few days later, I saw the mystery gardener in the flesh, the artist who'd wrought such a miracle transformation in my neighbor's yard, and it was kismet. Love at first sight. No, it wasn't the kind of love that causes you to question your marriage. It was the kind of love that causes you to question yourself. The kind that makes you want to be a better person. The kind that changes your life completely. His name was Giles Owita, and from the start, something flowered between us and around us. First he became my gardener, and then he became my friend. And while I knew from the moment I met him that he was someone special, truly, I didn't know the half of it. Chapter 1. Garden Angel. The well-tended yard and stately home of my neighbor, Sarah Driscoll, master gardener, slipped by on my right. I was so arrested by the view that for an instant it felt as if I were standing still and her 40-foot magnolia tree were moving backward. Then I saw him. He wore a navy work suit with bright white leather tennis shoes. Our eyes met briefly and my foot went to the brake just as fast as that. By then he'd already turned away from me. I watched as he plunged his shovel into a mound of mulch that wasn't there when I had left home that morning. He gingerly eased the shovel out and balanced a small pyramid of shredded hardwood with what appeared to be a practiced hand. His build was slight and strong. I knew that Sarah's new gardener also worked with her at the garden shop where she was assistant manager. She'd said he was industrious and talented. As I continued down the hill and pulled into my driveway, I followed his reflection in my rearview mirror. I kept watching as he moved toward Sarah's boxwoods, where he let the mulch slide from his shovel into empty portions of the newly cut bed. He glanced down the hill in my direction as if curious himself, or else he was wondering why that lady with the unfortunate yard was staring at him. That caught me up short. I didn't want to be the white lady staring at the black stranger in the neighborhood. I'd encountered too many small-minded people like that over the years, and I had a horror of seeming like one of them. It was the second week of March, just after 5 o'clock, and I was 52 years old. Even now I can imagine recording those details in a mental journal, as if I already knew that this moment, the first time I laid eyes on Giles Owita, was something I'd always remember. It was within that sliver of awareness that I noticed the newly sprouting lime-green grass in Sarah's yard, and the fresh leaves on the maple trees that lined our neighborhood sidewalk. Some overhanging branches, not yet full and leafy green, curved in almost perfect symmetry above the stranger's head, and I was reminded of an abstract and imperfect halo. Everything about this man, from the lush green of the plants he worked on to the coiled energy that seemed to direct his movements, exuded health. I envied him this blessing. Almost 10 years had passed since I was first diagnosed with cancer in my left breast, but I still felt shaken. Not that anyone other than my husband knew this. If you were a friend of mine in those days, you would have said, "She handled it so well, both the lumpectomy and the radiation. She went right on with her activities and didn't complain. Her faith was strengthened. She was not afraid. She was a wonderful example for all of us." But none of this would have been true. Secretly, I was an utter coward. I felt marked, doomed. I had been heartsick and consumed by fear. I worried then, and I have worried every day since then. I had spent too many hours in the past 10 years examining my body for bad omens. The sky was tinged with the lovely light blues and pinks of late afternoon. I parked in our driveway and walked toward our brick front porch, all the while thinking of luck and prayers.